investigation into singer David has intensified after the body of a teenager was discovered in a Tesla that has been linked to him.
This Celeste and David case just went from disturbing to downright horrific. The feds finally dropped their so-called airtight timeline, proof, they say, that David was moving reckless with Celeste. But right when it looked like the story was locked in, his own brother Caleb stormed in with a bombshell, claiming the government's timeline might not even be real. Here's the deal. Feds laid out a timeline that paints David into a corner, every detail stacked like bricks in a wall he can't climb over. It starts back in late 2021, early 2022, when David meets Celeste online through Fortnite. He's about 16 or 17, and she's only 11 or 12. That gap alone had red flags waving everywhere, and investigators weren't about to ignore it. Then March 28, 2022, David drops a track called Decide. The lyrics? They mention Save Your Tears and 7 years. People started saying that was his way of hinting at Celeste's age, like he was counting down until she turned 18. That's creepy beyond words. Fast forward, September 7th, 2022, Celeste's birthday. David releases Romantic on the exact same day. Everyone knows artists tie their songs to their lives, but the feds called this one way too obvious. By October, Discord chats begin leaking, and things only get darker from there. David's out here in Discord chats asking, "Is Celeste in here?" And she answers back. By 2023, things start spiraling fast. On Twitch, a stream shows David laughing it up with Celeste about controversial stuff until he suddenly freaks out and tells her to delete the VOD. That alone had investigators watching him like hawks. Then February 2024 hits. Celeste's mom reports her missing for the first time. Around that same time, people are already flooding David's comments saying, LAPD's gonna catch you for messing with a 13-year-old. And like clockwork, new photos of them together surface. It's wild. Every time she vanishes, proof pops up that she's still around him. By spring 2024, Celeste disappears again, comes back briefly, then vanishes all over. June rolls around and she's spotted backstage with David by August. On Discord, users are literally saying, "Drop the one with the missing girl Celeste." The internet was calling him out before the cops even made a move. Now here's where it gets nightmarish. September 2025, a body is discovered, dismembered, stuffed in the trunk of a Tesla. And guess what? The Tesla's registered to David. You see why the feds lined all this up like nails in a coffin? Days later, the fallout explodes. Police raid his manager's house.
This album is my life. Like, Withered is my life. Petals of Thorns and Lost Petals are what I wanted my life to be, and then Withered is my life.
His label drops him. David scrambles to wipe Reddit posts and locks his Fortnite stats so no one can track him. Caleb's basically saying all those dates, all those so-called receipts, don't prove guilt. They prove somebody set his brother up. That flips the whole case upside down. But right after the feds laid out their timeline, rumors started flying that Caleb himself might actually be working with the cops. People online aren't just saying he distanced himself. They're accusing him of straight up cooperating. Some Reddit threads even claim he's snitching, tying his own lyrics to Celeste and suggesting he knew way more than he ever let on. If that's true, Caleb wouldn't just be the brother dropping bombshells. He'd be the brother helping law enforcement build the case. And in the hip-hop world, that snitch label hits different. Fans are split, some screaming betrayal, others calling it justice. But here's what really sparked the fire. Reports started circulating that Caleb was meeting with police, supposedly shaken by what was surfacing about David. At the same time, Reddit detectives dissected his songs, claiming certain bars lined up suspiciously close with what went down between David and Celeste. Then came the blurry photo, supposedly showing Caleb backstage with Celeste at one of David's concerts. That shot had the internet demanding answers. Did Caleb know more than he's saying? Did he stay quiet for too long? Or is he just trying to clean up his image before this spirals even further? Some reports even claim Caleb's been working side by side with investigators, and people ran with it like wildfire. Whether it's real or just clout-chasing headlines, the damage is already done. Caleb's name is in the mud now, but let's keep it real. If he is cooperating, what's the play? Is he just trying to protect himself before the feds start connecting dots to everyone in David's circle? Think about it. David's manager already had his house raided, and his label dropped him like dead weight. The people closest to David are already jumping ship. So Caleb stepping up as the informant brother could either be him saving his own skin or burying David once and for all. And here's where it turns darker than ever. If Caleb really is passing info to the feds, then all those cryptic lyrics, the late night voicemails, even his tattoos, they might not just be weird coincidences. They could be the exact evidence that locks David away for good. But before anyone decides if Caleb's truly snitching, we gotta rewind and look at the chaos online. Because from the start, this case has been drowning in wild rumors, fake posts, and viral lies. The first big one, that viral pregnancy rumor. A post on X racked up over 2.5 million views claiming Celeste was pregnant when she died and that infant remains were supposedly found near David's home. That pregnancy claim sent shockwaves through the fan base. People weren't just saying this was a tragic relationship gone wrong. They were convinced it was something way darker. But here's the reality, completely debunked. No reports, no forensic evidence, nothing official from law enforcement, just pure misinformation that spread like wildfire because fans were desperate for answers. Then came the drama around Celeste's aunt, and this one was messy. Screenshots surfaced showing her posting shout-outs, flexing her new talent badge, almost like she was turning the tragedy into a content grind. Fans weren't having it. Some called it clout chasing. Others tried to defend her, saying maybe it was her way of coping. Either way, it had everyone side-eyeing the family dynamics heavy. And that's the problem. False leads, family drama, and viral chaos make it nearly impossible to separate fact from fiction. On one hand, you've got federal investigators quietly stacking evidence for a homicide case, and on the other, you've got internet detectives tossing out unverified theories, half of which crumble under scrutiny. Total mess. But here's the wild part. This chaos might not even be random. When timelines flood with rumors, the real evidence gets buried deep. If somebody wanted to cover their tracks or distract from the truth, flooding the internet with lies would be the easiest play. And this is where things turn downright chilling. While the internet's busy chasing fake rumors, the creepiest evidence might have been hiding in plain sight the whole time, inside David's own music. What's buried in his texts and lyrics feels less like coincidence and way more like confession. If the timeline wasn't already damning and Caleb's bombshells weren't messy enough, the darkest clues might actually be sitting right there in David's songs and interviews. Once people started dissecting every lyric, every lost voicemail, every breakdown he had on stage, it all started looking less like art and more like raw evidence. Let's rewind to David's background. His parents pulled him out of school, homeschooled him, and kept him under a strict religious grip. He admitted all of this himself during an interview with Dazed. Some claim he was already showing disturbing thoughts as a teen, obsessed with blood, death, and violence, long before video games and isolation sent him deeper into the dark. Then fame hit. He blew up online, the money came pouring in, and suddenly his parents loosened the chains. That new freedom mixed with his obsession over Celeste could have been the exact recipe for disaster. To his fans, she wasn't just a girlfriend, she was the centerpiece of his twisted little world. And when you dig into that album, every lyric, every interview, the theory doesn't sound far-fetched at all. In one sit-down, David literally said, "That's what I feel for my art. It's beautiful for a time, so my music is only here for a temporary time. Withered is the process of going back to where I came from. I wanted the album to sound like a goodbye, a send-off to the next era, or whatever I'm doing next." He even doubled down on it in another interview with Zach Sang. Looking back now, fans are asking, was he saying goodbye to his career, or was that a goodbye to Celeste herself? David also kept circling back to these heavy themes, the invisible string theory and the Korean concept of zong, a bond so deep it's said to never break, even when it turns toxic. He once admitted, "The irony was that the person who taught me this begged, 'Don't leave me.' But in the end, she left anyway. And now, that person is gone from his life." Fans can't help but link that straight to Celeste. Then there's the flower symbolism. His album Withered shifts into talks of a deluxe project called Japanese Lily. In Japanese culture, the red spider lily represents death, mourning, and the separation between life and death. The red spider lily blooms as summer fades into fall, a moment of transition. Was that just a metaphor for David's artistic evolution or a chilling nod to Celeste's fate? For a lot of people, the real smoking gun is that Celeste's actual voice is scattered all over his music, especially tracks like I Never Needed You and So Long Goodbye. In these songs, you can literally hear her voicemails, crying, drunk, apologizing, saying she misses him. In the first track, she even says, "You're always the one calling my phone. You have to figure out what's going on with you. Why are you?" It's the sound of a girl trying to pull away and a boy refusing to let go. Then there's the SoundCloud track Satan's Pursuit, dropped in late 2023, and it's even darker. David raps, "It kills me slowly day by day. I need to find somewhere to clean my thoughts, but I'm not happy at all. I let Satan pursue me. I still miss you the way it was before I threw my life away." Was he confessing in real time? And it wasn't just the recordings, his live performances got downright disturbing. In April 2025, during the BandLab experience, David broke down sobbing in the middle of Afterlife, unable to finish the song. Then again that June, he performed it live and had another full-on breakdown on stage. Fans can't decide if David's breakdowns were grief, guilt, or both, but either way, they left everyone rattled. Stack it all together, the birthday song drops, the flower and death imagery, the invisible string theory, Celeste's actual voice buried in his tracks, and his onstage meltdowns, it paints a chilling picture for fans. To many, this isn't coincidence. It's obsession, carved straight into his music. And that's what feeds the darkest theory yet, that David lived with Celeste's body for months before dumping her in that Tesla, maybe even hoping it would get towed and destroyed before anyone uncovered the truth. Some even whisper he wanted to get caught, because why else would he scatter so many eerie clues in his art? But the bigger question is, if David was spiraling this hard, did the people closest to him, his label, his team, his manager, know more than they admitted? That's where the spotlight shifts. While David takes the hits publicly, others are asking if his inner circle was protecting him all along. How deep does this cover-up run? Let's start with Josh Marshall, David's longtime manager. The feds raided his house immediately after Celeste's body was identified. Now, why would the cops target the manager unless they suspected he was tangled in this mess? And here's where it gets even dirtier. Fans have been claiming Josh and the label weren't clueless at all. They'd already been accused of enabling David's predatory behavior, with whispers that warnings about Celeste being a missing minor was sent their way as early as 2024. If that's true, then Josh can't play dumb. Celeste wasn't just a random fan, she was a reported missing minor, showing up backstage with David's crew while still underage. Anyone in David's circle could look at her and know she was too young. She had to use fake IDs, couldn't even drive, and was still popping up in concert photos. That should have been a dead giveaway. So why didn't anyone step in? The theory is ugly but simple. They looked the other way because the money was rolling in, and it gets shadier. After the LAPD searched David's rented apartment, reports say Josh ended the lease immediately. Fans saw that as a cleanup move, like he was trying to erase traces before cops could dig deeper. The label cut ties just as fast, almost like they knew the storm was coming. And here's where Caleb slides back into the picture. If his brother really is snitching, or at least cooperating, then investigators might not just be circling David. They could be digging into everyone connected to him, management, the label, even family. Caleb distancing himself or feeding info could be his way of dodging the fallout, while Josh and the label scramble to keep their own names clean. One thing's clear now, David's not the only one under suspicion anymore. His whole team's being dragged into the mud, and the deeper this case goes, the more people believe this wasn't just one man spiraling. It was a whole system built to protect him until the truth got too big to hide. Like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. See you on the next one.